shit, Seth recording with us? Oh, shit!
Seth's our friend.
What's up?
And this is Your Friend's Podcast. And I'm Alex Comp.
And I'm Grant Davis.
Damn it, I was going to be Grant.
No, who are you really?
I'm Justin Brodzik.
And I'm Alex Comp. And on this episode, we have a special friend on Your Friend's Podcast.
This is Seth Hubbard here.
Seth.
The comeback kid.
So, Grant and Seth, talk about your relationship. Explain why Seth is here.
Go into gross detail.
Gross detail.
So I've known Seth. I've known him since first grade.
Miss Zuzo's class.
Miss Zuzo's class. But we didn't start hanging out until around like 4th or 5th grade when we started playing on the same basketball team. And then ever since then, it's just been like, it's been me, Seth, and then our other friend Josh have been like the three main of our
Three
group.
amigos.
Oh yeah, the tripod.
The Musketeers.
And then all throughout high school, it was me, Seth, and Josh, and then we picked up more people to add to our group, and we ended up with a big group with Justin and Alex in it.
And here we are today.
Well, that was fast.
That's all it is.
It's not, there's no,
There's no
juicy stuff behind it.
There's no rise and fall to it. It's just a straightforward friendship.
Straightforward friendship.
No coop.
I actually knew you before Josh.
Yeah, but we didn't start hanging out until like
Yeah.
we were on the same like baseball team too in first grade.
The Braves.
Yep.
I remember it. And then once we started playing basketball.
It was just like constantly like because every time it would be a Saturday game, so we'd all go over to Josh's
hang
afterward.
out.
Yep. It's really weird how like sports that you play as a kid shape who you hang out with and all that.
That's who I hang out with to this day.
I
Except
played a
Justin.
lot of sports as a kid. I had no friends.
Well, there's reasons.
It's my baseball team bullied me. This one time, this kid named Colin, we were like at we were just at baseball practice, and we were just like joking around between like who I thought was like my friend, and he was telling me like, oh, like yeah, this girl's pretty hot, right? And I was like, yeah. She's like, we were in like I think 5th grade, and we were like, yeah, she's really hot, yeah. And then like the next day in school, like he told everyone that I said that, and like everyone made fun of me the next day. I think that girl like made fun of me like into my face.
You went to a mean elementary school.
He said who I
It was a bad day.
thought was my friend.
It was a bad day. It was a real bad day.
You went to a real mean elementary school.
I went to Catholic school.
Yeah, no one did that in elementary school. That was like middle school shit.
Yeah, Catholic school pumps out whores and drug dealers.
My first memory of middle school that I always think of is Dale sitting next to Angela. Wasn't that her name? Spitting out the chocolate milk. Oh, no, it was Angel. Yeah.
Oh, my God.
That's like what I remember most from middle school.
So we had this kid, Dale. He was a larger kid at the time, and he did not give a shit about anything. So one day, I guess somehow this happened, and we saw this girl, Angel, sitting alone, and we thought the best thing was to send Dale over there and let him do whatever he wanted to do just next to her, because Dale just will do anything given any situation. So he went up there and just sat down. I guess he like started trying to talk to her. He was like, "Hey, what's up, Angel?" And she was not having any of it. She just sat there, stone-faced, ate her lunch. And then he's like, "All right, how far can I push this?" So he's just doing weird shit. He started drinking the milk, and he goes, "Oh, this is terrible." He'd take another sip and then spat it all out on the floor next to him. And then he started eating his food and spitting that out too. And she just didn't give a shit.
This is the same kid who in elementary school fought our principal. When our 5th grade teacher, Dale didn't want to go to class. So she goes, "Just go. Get out of here." So he walked away and he left school.
He just walked home.
And he's a legend to this day.
In the middle of 5th grade recess, he just walked home.
That's incredible.
And there was like a long path you could go down to. It was probably like, I'd say like a 1/10 of a mile. And he was just going down it. And it looked...
We watched him in envy.
It was the most bad. As all were running to the line, we just see Dale going. And everyone's talking. It's like, he's just going? He's just going to go? And he just kept going. It was like the end of a Western movie.
Yeah, it was historic.
I want to go back to the story of Dale fighting our principal. I want you to tell that because you saw.
I saw it.
Yeah, I want you to explain. You saw it firsthand.
Well, I would go to kids' time, so that's after school. You know, your parents can't pick you up yet, so you wait there and you go and do stupid stuff. So I'm walking there, and to the left, as everyone's leaving, there's like these see-through doors. Not see-through, but they have glass, and you can see through it, and it's like this isolated little room. And I look in there, and there's a janitor. He's got a chair. The janitor and the principal are in there. Dale's like on top of Mr. Meyer, and the janitor's like bringing this chair in like he's a lion or something. He's like trying to hit him away with the chair. I'm like, oh my God, this is serious. Like, this is real. And then he gets the principal away, and then they both have him like pinned down. Like, I don't know what set him off, but I saw this happen. I'm like, it's like, oh my gosh, this guy's crazy.
And that's like a 10, 11-year-old at the time.
Yeah.
Fighting a grown man.
And he was holding his own. That's the thing. And janitors, they're mean. You know, janitors are mean.
That's 2 grown men to take down an 11-year-old.
11-year-old.
It harkens back to the question, how many 5th graders do you think you could beat up?
At this point, I don't even know if it's one.
No.
I have something to say.
Is it about nice ripped men?
No.
Tell them how you really feel, Bill.
I quit my job.
We know that.
I think you talked about this.
We talked about this last time.
I quit my job.
Your new one?
I quit my new
You
job.
quit your new job. Why?
That I was there for a day.
But it
Why?
was supposed to be so cool. And
Okay,
like,
so
you
here's
make
why
so much money.
Here's why it wasn't cool.
Okay.
All right.
Did they beat you?
No.
Did they bully you?
No.
Did they fondle you?
No.
Okay,
Oh,
then why'd you quit?
Well, this is because they didn't do those things.
Oh, I get it.
He wanted to be fondled.
So I got a new job, and I quit. Not even after a day. It was like 2 p.m. when I started writing my termination email.
What the fuck?
What time did you start?
8?
9.
5 hours into your first day, you're like, yeah, I'm gonna quit.
Yep. There's too many red flags. So So I had previously interviewed in the office space they had stuck me in, and I was promised that this was like an overflow place for like offshore Indian programmer analysts, and there was only like 5 people in the office, and imagine like a space the size of like 2 high school classrooms that can fit 30 kids was about the space of this office.
Yeah.
But half of it had completely broken lights and like tipped over furniture, and the other half was just, well, it was like an office space but with 5 people spread across maybe 80 seats. So the guy I was talking to was like, I know this space sucks. I know it fucking sucks. But, like, you're going to be working in a very large car manufacturer that I'm not going to mention's office space that's, like, down the road. I'll be training with you. Like, you'll be fine. So I'm like, all right, man. There's, like, a lot of sketchy things here. But, like, I want a job, and you guys are willing to, like, train me into a position that I'm not, like, quite ready for. So I'm willing to give this a shot. But even during, like, the interview process, there were so many different red flags with this shit. Like, they wanted to pay me $300 a month for 3 months of training in this position. And the way I was like, no, like that would be fine. But after the 3 months, they were so sketchy about telling me how much money I would make. They're like, we'll appraise you then. And I'm like, I can't put my financial security into a we'll talk about it later or an IOU, motherfuckers. So they moved it up to $2,000 a month, which I was like, why wasn't it $2,000 a month before?
That's a big gap from 300.
That's
Right.
more than 500%.
So that was a red
600%.
flag.
That's about $1,700.
That's about $1,700. So I was like, okay, if you're willing to give me that much money before, why wasn't it the original offer? So that was a red flag in itself. And this was later explained to me why it was like that. So anyways, so many red flags during the interview process. It was like a struggle for them to get me on, or get me off. But
Not hot.
so I show up on my first day. There's like a single car in the parking lot. And I know it's the guy who interviewed me because he was also supposed to be the guy who was going to train me. So it's like, okay, cool. I walk in. Well, he lets me in. We walk into the office. There's 5 people in the office already. And I'm like,
How are 5 people here with no car?
well, how are 5 people here with no cars outside? I was like, did they all Uber or?
Do they just live here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They had 5 people living in a closet on a mattress.
What?
They had Indian programmers working in that office and living there.
They were underpaid, just living there.
It was essentially slave labor.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And yeah, I found this out because the guy was like taking me on a tour of the office, and he shouldn't have, because that was the moment when I was like, all right, I'm quitting today. So we're walking through the office, the shitty fucking office. He's like, here's this shitty thing. Here's this shitty thing. I hate this office. I don't know why they're putting you here. I'm like, they're putting me here? Fuck! I was so mad, but I didn't show it. I was just thinking of like how I'm going to word this email that I'm quitting. And like, he keeps opening like closet doors, and there's just boxes and garbage. And the entire place just smelled so bad. There wasn't AC either. And it was like, this is like glorified slave labor. This is like, so this company is contracted by this major car manufacturer. And I imagine how those contracts work out is an auction to the lowest bidder. So it's like, we will give you your product for like this very low amount of money. And then it's up to that contract position to get people to do that work. So they essentially, what I imagine happen is in India, they're like, we'll get you green card access. We can get you citizenship or whatever you need to come to the United States, but you're going to do shitty fucking work. But to them, it's like this golden opportunity that they I don't know if they shouldn't take or not. I have absolutely no idea. But I imagine that's what this company's business practice is. And what it was later explained to me when this guy who was training me took me out to lunch, eventually came back to the office, and I was like, thank fucking God he's taking me somewhere else. He was like, yeah, so like the company's goal is like to save a ton of money. And I was like, that's not a good goal. And so like we just hire a shit ton of people at once, and we just see who stays around. And I was like, why are you telling me this? Because I'm not staying around, motherfucker. And that was like around 1 p.m. So the second I got back, I started writing emails and stuff. They had a dedicated hallway to like cricket. I know that because there was a cricket paddle and those cricket like sticks.
The wickets.
The wickets.
They were just playing cricket?
They were playing cricket inside in this like hallway that was probably like where Grant's sitting to that window.
But like you play cricket in the middle of a circle.
You play it in a field.
You play it in a field.
You play in a field. And
It's like a baseball thing.
But it's like you are in the center of a circle, a giant
Oh, yeah.
circle, and that's how you play cricket.
They could have been practicing pitching and hitting.
Yeah, that's basically all it was.
Oh,
I mean, there were Indian workers, and cricket's huge in India. And I was like alone in this office. The 5 other people did not speak English. And they were sitting too far away from me. They weren't sitting together. We were all spread out.
So no one was talking to anyone.
No one was talking to anyone. But like every 5 minutes, a different person would get a phone call and start talking on the phone. And it's like, how are you people getting so many phone calls right now?
It's tech support.
It wasn't tech support. It wasn't like because when they would talk quietly into the phone, I was like, oh, that's very polite. But then here's the thing. They had all their ringers on, like full volume, and also they were calling like DTE Energy, like all of them. And
What?
It was like, I don't know. And I know that because they would call DTE, they would like whisper some stuff into the phone and be like, what are they talking about? And then I would know because they take the phone away, put it on speaker, and let the music play while they're on hold. And I'm like, this is such a weird system of politeness that you're like whispering into the phone, but when it comes down to it, you're making way more noise. And it was just odd. That was an odd observation.
Please give us power to this warehouse we're working in.
It was so shitty. I hate that company. And it didn't make me feel better when I really liked the guy who interviewed me, and I think he should get out, but he's been working for that company for 4 years.
What does he do? Is he just like the fisher?
No, he was the guy. He's a guy who was going to be my boss in my position.
He doesn't just like fish people in.
No, he was really cool. He kept saying like, I know it's sketchy, but I swear this business is legit. Like paychecks will come. but like sometimes you'll have to like talk to HR about it. I'm like, what do you mean I'll have to talk to HR about it? He's like, they'll literally forget you and won't pay you, and you'll have to be like firm with them. I'm like,
That sounds awful.
why are you telling me this?
This isn't a pyramid scheme.
Yeah. And I don't know if he was
Just sell Verve.
I think he was like trying to be really sincere about the upfrontness of how terrible this company was run. But all that did was like, dude, you have 4 years in this. I have 4 hours. I'm out.
Yeah.
But also he drove a really shitty car, and I'm like, anyone who's in the same position for 4 years shouldn't be driving a shitty car. Like, it was a beat up Toyota with a spare tire on it. And I was like, maybe he just doesn't care about cars. So I was like, hey man, like, so do you like cars? Like, I'm really into Tesla. Oh, that Corvette was really cool. You see how it had the things? He's like, oh yeah, dude, if I could drive any car I'd want like a Ford Focus. And I was like, oh my God.
I'd want a Ford Focus with minimal features, preferably 2007.
Oh my God.
Just the hatchback era was on point.
I couldn't even mask it. He said that, and I put my head in the dashboard of his car. I was just like, oh my God. I can't be here. I'm like, I can't. Why are you here? You're like such a legit individual that just got like manipulated into this company.
Maybe
like he has a college degree in design and he's working for this shitty company.
Maybe he does like a lot of drugs.
Maybe. Oh my
And
God.
this
dude.
supplies him money for drugs.
But it was so terrible, like sitting in that office thinking like I was looking up articles like quitting a job on the first day, like am I crazy? Should I not do this? But then I was like, dude, if I'm so uncomfortable before getting this job and then getting the job, I'm still uncomfortable and it just keeps getting worse. I'm not going to be able to do what they want, even if they turn out to be super dope or whatever. And I don't want to work for a fucking company that has 5 people sleeping on a mattress in the back of an office.
I had a similar situation. Not like
Right.
going there and there's people sleeping. But when I applied at Toys R Us.
Okay.
I don't know if I should be saying like names and stuff.
Just say you
I
work for
feel
a
kind of
company.
weird. I worked
We
for a
can cut it.
company
You
that
applied for-
wasn't us.
Okay, don't say that. All right, we'll also cut that.
Oh, wait, I'll just bleep it out. Say whatever you want.
All right.
Because I was avoiding company names, too.
Okay, good. So I was going to work for a company. I went there and I get my interview, and because they called me in, I'm like, okay, I can do it. And they called me, and it was like they gave me like 2 hours. They're like, can you be here in like an hour and a half? I'm like, yeah, I guess. I get there, I'm interviewing. I tore through the store, and it's like you go to the back room, and it's just beat up and awful, and
Not a
I
good sign.
yeah, they hired me without even knowing me,
Oh.
and that I was like, okay, that's fine. You need a person to work in the back, and it was just everything was in shambles and gross. I'm like, why would I want to work here? I gave him my social security. I'm like, I shouldn't have done that. And then they called me wanting to know when I could train, and I ignored it, and then they never called me again. So I didn't work.
They're probably used to it.
I didn't work at this said company.
Yeah, I learned the most valuable thing I learned from this experience. For one, if I'm feeling like any red sign at all during the interview fucking process, drop it. It's not worth it. Mm-hmm. But also, I learned a very valuable lesson in fucking professionalism of companies, which is really valuable since I'm going to be working in branding and I want to build my own company. So it's like, if somebody walks into your office and their first thought is, what the fuck? You're not a good... Fucking get your shit together. Like, a company is like this man-made thing that doesn't really exist in the world. And it's like you're trying to convince people to work for you for like 40 hours, like all of their life. Like, make it cool, make it fun. Be professional at least.
Just be Google.
Not even. Like, fucking just have chairs.
Bleep, bleep.
Have
Be this company.
It's so... Like, it's crazy how quick, like, the normalization of, like, going to a place every day can be completely destroyed by it not being, like, a stable environment. Because it's like, if you went to a shitty school, no wonder why you don't, like, think school works or don't want to go to it. Mm-hmm. It's shitty. Oh, also, I had to quit, like, right then. I couldn't quit in like 2 weeks when they paid me because I'd have to pay that money back. What? It was in my contract.
What?
Yeah, I was reading through the contract they sent me, and so like I guess that's why they were offering $300 at first, was because if you quit during the training process, they describe it as you doing like irreprehensible damage to the company that can't be determined in any monetary value, so you'll just have to pay back what you were given.
So if you quit any time in those 3 months, you had to give back all the money.
Whatever money they gave you, you'd have to give back.
That's ridiculous.
I know. So because they described it as you are working and training at the expense of the company.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, but fucking...
That's my time I spent there.
Who gives a shit? Who the fuck are you to tell me I'm an expense that you're paying for? Of course I'm the expense you're paying for.
I'm working for you.
Yeah. And, like, I guess that makes sense because they always had this lording attitude over me during the interview process that I, like, had to shatter by the end of it. Like, I was hanging up if they were like, we can't do that for you, we can't do that. Is there anything I can do for you? I'd just hang up, and they'd call me back. They're like, I'm so sorry. Probably because they're used to, like, talking to these desperate Indian programmers who are like, get me to the United States.
I'll do $300 a month.
Right.
That seems livable.
Yeah, $300 a month in an office space that we'll give you. So, like, they kept this lording attitude over me, and I was like, fuck you, no. And I just plowed through it, but I know way better now. It was... Yeah, but I mean, they don't want to give like a foreign person living on a green card $2,000 a month because they wouldn't be able to pay that back.
Yeah, they just leave.
Because that's all the money they had.
Yeah.
So yeah, I quit my job. And everything is salad.
Hype.
There's no company holiday.
Oh.
But I do know what car I won't be buying.
A shitty Toyota?
Well, no, just
Ford Fusion?
the car company that contracted this shitty-ass company that was basically doing slave
Okay,
labor.
tell us later.
Yeah.
I know. You already know. He told us what we...
I don't remember.
Oh, okay.
It's GM.
Damn, those bitches.
I know.
I did a giant project on them in 4th grade. I spent a lot of time on it. I, like, touted them as this great company.
You probably spent more time doing that than they did building this office space for the Indian
I
people.
think I probably did.
But, like, aren't they the ones that ruined Flint?
GM.
Flint?
I don't know.
Because we watched, have you ever seen, am I allowed to say movie names?
Yeah.
I'm new to this.
You can say movie.
Just
names.
can't say company
Roger
names
and Me.
or last names.
No.
Roger and Me was a documentary we watched. And basically they took the plant out of Flint, and that, like, just spiraled the whole downfall because they outsourced to go get cheap labor.
That's what, yeah.
And, like, Flint was booming. And now it's, where it is today.
Yeah. I mean, wasn't GM... I mean, honestly, I might leave it in because fucking fix your goddamn shit.
Say the CEO's name, and then a week later they died.
Apologize.
I was listening when you said that, and I didn't listen to it till after it happened, but the new episode hadn't came out yet. So I was like...
Seth was in that group.
I was like, Grant's going to figure it out. I'm like,
and if it's a personal story, no last names.
Got it.
Okay.
So we're cool with just Dale.
Yeah. But also that story was told in episode 1.
Also, I don't know.
I thought it was told, too.
I don't know what Dale's last name is, so it's fine.
That's fine. It's fine to even retell stories on the podcast because I was listening to a podcast earlier and they retell stories sometimes. I've been listening to this podcast for like 3 years, so I've reheard them. But they described it as like if you're like at a bar and you and your friend are talking to somebody else, but your friend knows the story, but the person doesn't, you should still tell that story. Your friend's not going to be like, oh, I already know this one. It's going to be like, shut the fuck up. Who cares what you know? So, like, even if you're listening to this and you listen to episode 1 and, like, you heard that story, we're going to tell the same story sometimes, depending on, like, how long this goes. That's just how human nature is. Ours is just recorded. You're saying, Grant?
It's hard to remember what stories we've told.
Yeah, but it's fine.
Do you know Taco Bell's coming out with chicken nuggets?
They're chicken chips.
Calling them chicken chips.
You
They're
have
going to be shaped in triangles.
Yeah, you get dip cups of nacho cheese for your chicken nuggets. But that is not the stupidest fast food thing to date. I think it was Monday, McDonald's unveiled their new invention, the fork.
The fry fork.
The fork, F-R-O-R-K.
The fry fork.
It is a fork for your fries. You put the fries in the fork, and then you eat them right off the fork. It's so you don't get like salt on your fingers when you eat the fries.
I use chopsticks.
To eat fries?
No, if I'm like at my computer or something, but I'm eating, I'll put like whatever I want in a cup, in a solo cup. If I can't like chug it into my mouth, I'll use chopsticks.
If you can't do this.
If I can't jerk it off into my mouth, I'll do chopsticks, like Doritos or whatever. Yeah, it makes it really easy. I don't want to get my shit dirty. But back to GM being shitty. I think they were the company that bought all the railroads in the United States that made public transport through the railroads impossible because they disassembled them and also used them privately. So people would buy more cars.
I don't know.
Smart.
I don't know enough.
That's good business.
It's good business, but it's also fuck you, GM.
Oh yeah, I know it's a big fuck you, but it worked, right? It's
Yeah, it worked pretty well.
Do you know that Vanderbilt bought a house in 1890 that he paid $12 million for in 1890?
I think we also talked about this.
There are estimates that could be up to $1 billion today.
We did talk about this.
We did. Yeah, we've done this.
It's crazy. Do you want to know the name of it?
House.
It's the Breakers. It's in Newport.
Damn.
All handcrafted.
Okay.
I learned about it in history.
If you want to learn more about it, go to our previous episode.
Yeah.
Also do that for all of our stories.
Yeah, just do it anyways.
Yeah, just always go through all of our episodes.
It'll help you and us out.
Probably not you.
Some of them are helpful.
Also, my commute was going to be like an hour a day.
That was the Warren one?
Yeah.
Oh, good. Fuck that company.
So I was like, even if this was like a good company, I'd be sketchy about it because this drive would make me miserable. I was stoked on 9 to 6 until I realized 6 p.m. is kind of late to be at a job. Honestly, I just want to be self-employed. I don't want to work for people. I can't stand it. I'm much better not doing that.
Yeah, I would love to own my own company. You know, why would you want to have people talk down to you?
Right.
Set your own hours. Set your own wage.
Yeah, not pay anyone else. Just yourself.
Be a one-man company.
Have no health insurance.
Make no money.
My wage is set at 0.
Yeah. That's
Make a
what my
shitty
wage
product.
is right
No
now.
one wants it. Company tanks. Your life goes down the toilet. Kill yourself at 35.
Lose the kids first.
35.
That's the dream, man.
35's a little too far. I think
the
you'd make it like
American
32, 33.
Oh, fuck.
See, I'm starting this company after I realize what I'm already doing is shitty, so I'm leaving my other company at like 29.
Okay. So you got 6 years to kill yourself.
$0 in savings.
I got 20 cents.
Nice.
What you pulling up?
I'm looking for... I was just saying about how Justin was talking about killing yourself at 35.
Yeah.
And I said the American dream is dead. Reminded me of my history final where...
You had to talk about how the American dream is dead.
Yeah, I basically did talk about how the American dream was
Yeah.
dead. It was just an essay question, but I, for whatever reason, turned into this really emo set piece.
The other essay I took in the class that I gave you that essay for, the other essay I wrote in that class was about how American values are poison.
Wow. That's a good essay topic.
It was so easy to write.
Deep.
Oh, it was real deep.
Hashtag deep.
I can share it with you if you want.
But,
Hit me up on LinkedIn.
I got an A on it.
my conclusion for this question was the way I and those closest to me see it, the American dream is dead and we're wide awake to deal with the fallout.
Oh my god, you want to hear my conclusion of my essay? It's way darker.
What?
I got it on my phone.
God, I'm such
Hold
a...
on. Google Docs.
I was writing that. I'm like, God, I'm so fucking moody, but I want to keep this to 2 pages, and I can't think of any way else to say this.
You didn't say anything about third eyes.
No third eyes. Open your third eye. Stay woke.
The American dream is dead. You gotta stay woke. Open your third eye.
Just eat shrooms every day. Microdose.
Take tabs of acid.
A lot at once.
All at once. I never had to write an essay that dark for school. The essays we wrote this semester, it's probably just because of the class I took, but the essay I wrote this semester, I had to interview someone about their family life and then compare it to the book I read. I didn't interview anyone. I didn't read a book, but I wrote the essay.
All right, this is my conclusion of this essay. Sorry, Seth. Let me get this out real quick.
Wait, I'm
Okay.
ready to hear it.
Feeling like you belong to American society, when examined carefully, can sometimes feel like a curse rather than a gift.
Damn.
The way that we alienate each other while simultaneously wishing to be part of a larger community is a very strange dichotomy we find ourselves trapped in, yet it's easy to ignore. American society is one of great technological advancement and surely one filled with pride. If you were to ask 1,000 people why they're proud to be an American, you'd most likely get 1,000 different answers, all completely unique from one another, but all patriotically blind. Nobody would address the fact that our incredibly high standards for a proper working man in society may be causing that demographic to have the highest suicide rate, which it is. White middle-aged men, high suicide rate. Nobody would discuss the fact that our constant need for personal gain is causing a wealth gap larger than any other country in America. The 3 top companies, their CEO make over 1,400 times what their median worker makes. But this might be the biggest cohesive factor of all. It's not our desire to be a valuable member of society or our individualistic nature or our drive to be as efficient as possible, but it's our pride in being Americans that makes us all belong to American society.
That was actually pretty similar to my entire conclusion to that essay question.
When you write these, do you get suicidal?
You just have to
No.
sound smart.
Yeah,
and
I
that
just
comes
try,
off as
I just
being
try and
moody.
use big words and sentences that make me sound smart, like patriotically blind and the word dichotomy.
Yeah.
Do you sit in a dark room with a hood up? And
This
No,
essay
I
is
wrote that in the
wicked.
middle of a bustling library.
It's like when you write that stuff, you're like, huh, everything I know sucks. And you just start to think about it as you're typing. And you go, everyone's dying. This is stupid. Fuck. And then you hang yourself.
Well, no. He's thinking fuck, but that's because it's due in 10 minutes and he has to go fucking turn it in.
Yeah.
That's why he's not thinking about it. But I would actually argue if you ask 1,000 people why they're proud to be an American, you would get a very small amount of answers that were all very similar.
They'd all be freedom. Why are you proud to be American? Fucking best country in the world, baby.
Honestly, I think that would account for like 80%.
U.S. military #1 in the world.
Right. Yeah, I think
Be a
it
lot
would
of
be
that.
really saddening to ask that.
Yeah.
It's like the bit from Newsroom, the show with who the fuck is it? The guy from Dumb and Dumber, the not Jim Carrey one.
Yeah. Forever not the Jim Carrey one. I don't know.
But he was in Newsroom, and the opening scene was that one that goes around Twitter where it's like they ask him on the interview why he's proud to be an American, and he says he's not, and then he lists all that shit. Why
Oh yeah,
what's
I
wrong with him.
love that.
Yeah. We watched that.
That's what I was thinking. I tried to find that to use information in my essay, but I couldn't find it.
He goes on for like a minute and a half monologue of like all this shit that's wrong with it, and then he just berates this college girl asking him a question.
All right, so
Yeah.
it's Chipotle, CVS, and Walmart. They all make over 1,000 times their median worker, their CEOs.
Those are the top 3 American.
That's just the top 3 in wage gap.
Oh, and wage gap.
Yeah.
Chipotle, CVS, and what was the third one?
Walmart. Chipotle, CVS, and Walmart, all of their CEOs make over 1,000 times what their median worker makes.
Well, Walmart and CVS are like a couple of the most profitable companies in their.
Why do you think that is?
Yeah.
I get Walmart. I didn't think CVS was that shitty.
No,
they
CVS
are.
is huge though. I was surprised. I just recently saw like a Reddit data is beautiful displaying the top brands making the most money, and CVS was in the like market industry, whatever, was like number 3, and it was super like a lot.
Like I've been thinking about that like since last year when I got transferred from the Plymouth store to the Novi store. The drive from the Little Caesars in Plymouth to Novi, I was like, wow, there's 5 CVS's on this 20-minute drive, and I just took one road. There's like too many going around. They have to be doing great.
Yeah, I mean 24 hours too.
Yeah, no, some of them aren't. The one in South Lyon isn't.
What is that? 4 out of 5 are?
Probably. The one on down the road from us,
Yeah.
the one that way, not the one like. I think they do that just so there's no competing around each other.
That
Fl-
might be true.
Plus, the one on the one that is open 24 hours, they have a wider selection of stuff, and they're more like, they're a newer store, so it's more. It looks better, so that's probably why they keep it up 24/7 instead of the other one.
But yeah, wage gap. I mean, I want to leave the United States. I got the best thing out of being American, and that's being an American. I was born in the United States, so I can go wherever I want.
Yeah, it's the freedom.
Yeah, so now I'm going to use that and leave when I can.
It's like the best. Actually, apparently it's not the best passport to have. We have the best passport to have.
Yeah, they just recently lost that title.
To who?
I think it was like to the UK or something.
It's some European country. It's either that or it's like Sweden.
Yeah,
One of those.
Is that where you'd go? Europe?
I would go to Europe. I'm thinking like Norway.
I feel like that's where
Go somewhere
everyone
that
would
speaks
go.
English.
What?
Go somewhere that speaks English.
They're all taught English.
Oh, good. You can go to Japan.
They are also taught English, but they don't like practice it like Nordic countries do.
Yeah, they like to speak Japanese.
Yeah, which is, I mean, Japanese culture. When my brother went to Japan, everyone was like super welcome, and he like had a ton of fun. But then when he was at a bar, what?
They didn't call him round eyes.
No, it was my brother Andrew, and Andrew has like long blonde hair past his shoulders. He has tattoos up and down his biceps. He has like a full-grown red beard. He's like really scruffy, and he is like he's like just as tall as me. So that's already like 4 inches above the average height of a Japanese citizen.
How tall is that, Alex?
I'm 5'11".
Okay.
And the average height would be like 5'7", 5'8". And so he said people would like look at him, but he'd never catch anyone looking at him. Other people would tell. But they were so polite, they wouldn't look at him until like he couldn't, like it would be weird for him to look at them. And they would only look for a second and then look away because they're so polite. But when he was drunk one night in a bar with like his friends and a bunch of Japanese people who were buying them shots for being American, they were explaining like how it's like, yes, we're so happy you're here, but we also want you to leave. We don't want you to live here. And he was like, oh, why is that? He's like, we want Japanese people living in Japan. We want Japanese people with Japanese people. We want you to come, but we want you to leave. And it was like this. I mean, an Asian...
Not a new
they
version.
Keep Japan, they want to make Japan great again.
Yeah, I mean, that's essentially it. I mean, from everything I've read, Asian culture is like still pretty xenophobic. I mean, honor is a huge thing still that's really ingrained in their culture.
Yeah, it's hard to have an opinion about a culture, but it's just, I feel like it's detrimental.
Well, see, here's the thing. You're saying that, and you acknowledge that, and 99% of other people don't acknowledge that fact, where it's hard to have an opinion on a culture. You can't have an opinion on a culture.
Yeah,
you have to live in it to have its opinion.
Right. But I do know of, if you get fired from like a Japanese firm and you're like Japanese, you work in a Japanese company and you're putting all those hours in, if you get fired, first of all, they'll demote you before they fire you. Like they'll demote you all the way down to janitor before they fire you. But if they fire you, that's essentially a death sentence where it's like, you're fucking useless. We can't find something for you to do. This episode was sponsored by Harris Design. Do you have walls? Do you want things on those walls?
Maybe art?
Maybe art? Custom art?
shelves?
Custom wood wall art?
Pretty fancy.
Pretty fucking fancy.
Looks neat. Surprise your friends.
Looks neat. Surprise your friends. We're surprised with the wall art we have here. Thank you to Nathan over at Harris Design.
Spice up your walls.
Spice up your walls.
Spice up your life.
It's just Nathan. He makes pallet wood art and he makes custom furniture. So if you want like a coffee table or anything, if you're interested, go to harrisdesign.design and you'll find links to his Instagram. You can email him. Maybe get something custom, go to his Etsy, buy a wall art. They're super cool. All the wood comes from Metro Detroit. He buys everything local. So if you care about things like patriotism,
Local business,
and amazing wall art that will make all your friends super jealous.
Let's be honest, it'll shock your friends.
It'll shock your friends. These pieces of super strong,
Highly
high quality,
durable.
highly durable. It's wood, dude.
oh, for
Highly
sure.
customizable.
Yep. Send an email over to Nathan at harrisdesign.design@gmail.com. Get something super custom for your walls, coffee table, whatever. Use promo code FRIENDS at checkout on the Etsy site and get 10% off your first purchase.
Maybe
Ooh,
something for your mom.
maybe something for your mom,
Makes
your dad.
great gifts.
Oh my God. Gifts. Harris Design, created for individuals. What I've been doing is I'm watching like stand-up, and I'll take a certain bit of a stand-up I like, and I'll write it down. And because at some point that joke was written down, so I can really see like how Louis C.K. writes a joke, or how Kevin Hart writes a joke, or how Bill Burr writes a joke, even though Bill Burr doesn't necessarily write all of his jokes down. I'll still write it down because I know Louis C.K. recites his jokes word from word, how he writes them down. And any indication of like this is in the moment, wasn't in the moment, kind of like Bo Burnham. And I learned from watching a YouTube video about the premise of a stand-up joke is really important. Like, if people aren't laughing at your joke, it's because they don't understand the premise of what you're talking about. And Chris Rock said that. And so, like, if you look at Louis C.K.'s Monopoly joke,
it's a very easy premise in Monopoly.
It's a very easy premise to understand.
Everyone knows Monopoly.
And it's like, from, like, saying, like, a Monopoly loss is dark. And then he contrasts that with Candyland, which is, like, another super recognizable thing to an American audience, which is the ones he's talking to. And it's like, it's all very on purpose. Whereas I was watching a stand-up last night with Amanda. It was this, I don't even remember his name, which is the issue. But it wasn't very good because he kept springboarding from, like, a complicated topic of, like, racism and Hinduism. He was an Indian comedian. He was an Indian comedian. Verdas. A broad understanding. He wasn't very good. He was super talented, and I really liked. He was super popular. Okay, so he split up his special into 2 different parts in 2 different locations.
So India and New York is what it looks like.
India and New York. He had one in New Delhi, and he had a smaller show in a New York club.
So what it seems like is he's bigger in India than he is in America.
Yeah, he is a very popular Indian American. He had like the size of a Louis C.K. show in New Delhi. But it might just be like...
His premise is easier to understand from an Indian culture.
Maybe. It was like there was the perspective gap that I'm not Indian, and a lot of his jokes were pretty difficult to grasp. But also, even if I were Indian, his premises were very... scattered, and he kept jumping to new things all the time, whereas Louis C.K. will take 3 minutes, 4 minutes on a specific topic and really build the joke, and then he does this wave thing. It's very easy to follow, but Louis C.K. has like 25 years of doing stand-up, whereas I don't know how long Verdas has been doing it, but...
I was watching Gary Goldman's special again, and I realized, like, he goes off.
Funny.
Yeah, he is funny. He goes off topic, but it's like it's a different way where it's still like bringing you in. Like he'll be on it. He was on the subject of Trader Joe's,
right?
And he went off that when he was describing Trader Joe's, and it went like to like an analytical thing of the people who go there, and then it became like analytical of like words he would use to describe them, and he just kept going, and then he jumped back to Trader Joe. So it kept like it went like. He was describing something, and he would go deeper and deeper and deeper in detail to it, and then come back out to broaden it.
Yeah.
Kind of like Daniel Tosh.
Yeah.
Louis C.K. has a very similar thing where I've sort of associated it with, like, tea comedy is what I call it. I don't know if there's, like, an actual name for it or not. But it's like, I view it as, here's the broad subject, and from, like, the beginning of the tea, at some point, you delve into a really specific detail where you then have the payoff of a punchline, and then you go back to the broad topic.
The one thing I thought Kevin Hart did really funny that kind of like brings it around, he said a joke early on about how he's scared of midgets.
Yeah.
It was one of his older ones because the midget beat him up. And then he goes to the gym and the guy asks for a spot. He's doing a lot and he's like, that's the midget that beat me up. And it's like he just brought it all full circle. And I just thought that was so funny.
Kevin Hart does that a lot. He'll take one thing that's like a baseline for like his whole special, and he'll use it again and again and again throughout the special. And like you think you'd get like bored of it, you'd be like, oh man, you said this 1,000 times, but it's fucking hilarious
funny.
every time he says
So
it.
funny.
He uses it perfectly every time.
Kevin Hart, what I realized, because I've written a lot of Kevin Hart's jokes down, because Kevin Hart's really fucking funny. He's the most successful comedian like of our generation right now.
Yeah,
he's
100%.
the most paid
He's
comedian
a fucking
right now.
mogul.
Yeah, he's doing so fucking much. And so I'm really curious as to what makes Kevin so special. First of all, he's just fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
He's really animated and has a great voice. He does like everything right. Those are things like you can't control. The things you can control with like the writing of his comedy, Kevin is a perfectionist with context and repetition. So like the repetition of like the midget joke or like anything else. Like
See, the thing is, it's in my savings.
Yeah, exactly.
Got to go have a check-in. Gonna take 3 business days.
Right. And it comes back to the premise thing. His premises are so easy to understand, but his way of telling the premise is what makes it really unique to Kevin. So he has this one joke about an ostrich. Have you guys seen the ostrich joke?
Yeah.
Right. He head was his body was this way. His leg was up, but his head was this way.
He's like his head.
Yeah. And like when he's writing, he writes like where we are now, like what's happening. Like we're in Nebraska. What am I doing? I'm peeing. What do I see? And he like it's almost like programming in a way where it's like it's just you can take every little bit and it's almost like sentence per sentence he's looking at it like I need to give them more context and I need to have a punchline coming. And it all builds to like the ostrich running next to the fucking car and he's still looking at them or something. But that's what Kevin is really fucking good at is the context or the premise and then the repetition of telling that joke. And what I realized is all good comedians have really easy premises.
Yeah.
Which may, like, to some people come... it's, like, difficult for some people to watch stand-up because they think it's all the same. Where, yeah, I guess a lot of the good comedians have really similar formats. So, like, newer comedians like Verdas want to break that.
Or like that one guy, what's his name? He did the 3 mics.
Neil Brennan. But the thing about Neil
really
is
good.
He's so talented and has been in the industry for so long. And his best friend is Dave Chappelle.
Oh, damn.
Oh, shit.
And he was the co-producer of the Chappelle Show. So Neil Brennan is not some new guy to the industry. He's just new to stand-up. And he took it and used all this experience and his creativity of being a really great individual and made something of his own. But even in his stand-up bits, even in the sad bits of Neil Brennan's 3 mic, he was building a really easy premise to talk about really complicated subjects that may not necessarily be funny, but still allows the audience to get with him. And then he does the same thing for his jokes. So it's all about the premise.
I'm wondering, like how do you think Bo Burnham gets perceived? Because I was just watching his special the other day. Yeah, but he like...
That's what I think. That's other people. I think he's hilarious.
I think he's hilarious too. But he goes in depth about art. He gets kind of deep, like in his What special when he does the left and the right brain thing.
Yeah, that's deep as fuck.
Like I don't know how people perceive that.
If that was like their first time seeing Bo.
Yeah, because it's like I don't know if I see him as one of the most popular comedians, and it might be because he goes on these different kind of subjects.
You got to be a certain type of person to like understand, not only just to understand the topic he's talking about at all, but to understand it and also find it funny. You've got to be able to like see the nuance in everything he's doing in the complicated topic. So like I think a lot of people just intellectually just aren't capable of understanding and finding it funny at the same time.
I think the premise he goes on is still like simple enough to like get the general public. Like the left and the right brain, everyone basically knows there's two halves of the brain control different parts of you.
Yeah.
And then like even with like the deeper stuff, people still have an understanding of that sort of thing. He's just giving his perspective of it. It's just I don't think people like him because it seems like he's using the music of it as a gimmick to stand on, and they don't like that in their comedy.
Which I love.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The music is great.
Like people, I think they pan him off as like, they put him in the same category as like The Lonely Island in their comedy music. Okay. Whereas The Lonely Island, they don't want anything like thought-provoking or anything like a stand-up really is typically more like just bits of songs that are funny on their own.
They really made fun of that exact topic about how they're not thought-provoking. What's that one song they did in their movie?
Incredible Thoughts?
Incredible Thoughts.
Yeah. Yeah. Like people don't want that in their music comedy. They want just funny things to happen.
Like Bo Burnham's older songs.
Yeah, like Bo Burnham's older songs were just, it was him when he was like 16.
Rehab for fictional animals.
Yeah.
The rehab fictional characters. Yeah.
Fictional characters. And
Great
like
one.
My Whole Family Thinks I'm Gay.
Yeah.
Like they were just funny songs. Like he
New
wrote
Math.
at 16.
Yeah.
New Math. He made a joke about the natural log.
Yeah.
And I don't think anyone got it.
No.
When he told it in his special, he did. There was no laugh break. There wasn't even like where he took a breath in between lyrics. He said it and then he just like started like screaming after it to mask the fact that no one was laughing because no one understood his joke.
Yeah.
There's a lot of nuance.
It's stuff like that it's still peppered in there to get to the deeper understanding people, but it's more generalized, and it was shifting over time to a more deeper understanding where he wanted to. it seemed, get away from the music comedy. And like in his later Make Happy, it was less about the songs and more about the interactions between the songs.
Yeah. That's why I really like Make Happy, because it gives a lot of context to Bo and like what he thinks about himself and the things he's made. Make Happy is my favorite Bo Burnham special. I watched it like at least 5 times last year. But Bo himself even talks about his premise is a bit complicated, like of who he is, because he never like had those formative years of being like even a teenager or a young adult and going like on that grind through stand-up clubs and doing all this stuff. He was just picked up. So the only thing he knows is comedy and doing shows. And he described it as a one-man show doing a show about doing shows.
Yeah.
And it's really complicated, and not everyone can get onto that.
I liked the premise of it. I just didn't like it as a stand-up because I didn't find it too funny.
It's a lot more nuanced than
Yeah.
the other stuff.
I didn't find it funny, which is what I watched. I watched stand-ups for the comedy, not...
Well, I watch it for the individual.
Yeah.
So if I don't get with the individual, I'm not going to get their comedy.
I really like Hannibal Buress.
Hannibal's awesome.
I fucking love Hannibal Buress. I liked his joke that he did, like the whole bit about the parade that you can throw yourself in New Orleans.
Yeah.
So fucking funny.
It costs, what was it, $100?
Yeah, $100.
It costs $100 to throw a parade. They'll shut down roads for you. They'll get people. Motherfucker, I have a parade every day.
Monday, 6 a.m. That's Hannibal time.
But yeah, I have found Bo Burnham in particular is people either like him or don't.
Yeah, he's more polarized as a comedian than...
Right.
Well, 100%.
He's in like the same polarization as Dane Cook was, it seems like. But Dane Cook's was more like...
Dane Cook polarized the opposite direction.
Yeah.
I mean, also, like, you're not... It's impossible for every comedian to be liked by everybody.
Yeah.
Because you... Like, some people might not like gross comedy, or some people not like the songs, or like the production of it. Like, whatever reason, someone might not like a comedian, they just might not like them. People like what they like, and there's no explaining it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I find writing down other comedians' jokes to be very useful.
Yeah, that's how like
Full circle. Wrap around. Full circle wrap around.
I think that's how like other comedians like start off like looking for their jokes. Is what they did is like, as younger people, they said they would before they went to like clubs and stuff, they would like analyze the other comedians at the time, and that's how they got their start. And that's where like the whole like basically the meta of stand-up.
The meta stand-up.
Changes.
Nice. I like that.
And then as the thing about that though that is like weird is the whole patenting of like jokes is like, this is a type of joke with like the delivery of it. When they get to it, they were talking about how when you write down a joke, you can see how comedians are more similar or different than each other, and that starts to bring in like different questions on like who is this individual and who are they trying to be, and are they copying this other individual, and it brings like a different.
Amy Schumer.
Well, no, she just steals the jokes. That's not like a nuanced thing. It's just she takes them and she does them.
Like you gave me that essay.
Yeah. But like the thing about it is it's different and hard to understand that because it's not like music where you can patent it. It's not like
Right.
It's not like any other work where you can patent it. Someone could like take some of your style, change it up a little bit, and it's still similar enough to you, but they're completely different. And it's hard to like really interpret that and find out where the line should be drawn.
Right. There's actually before I get to that point, talking about like building the base of yourself by taking works of others, I want to get back to that. But there's a YouTube video of Bo Burnham talking with like comedians I don't know because they're just out of my generation and I haven't really like looked into their works, but they're like big comedians. But like Bill Burr was there. The guy from Everyone Loves Raymond is there. Like
Raymond?
Older school comedians were there, and they were like talking to Bo. And this was like around
2012.
It was like before what? So yeah, like 2012. And they were talking about how his music is like a gimmick and it's not old school comedy, and he didn't do the grind through the comedy clubs, and like they felt like he was handed this position that he doesn't deserve. And Bo was like, yeah, I don't think I deserve it either. I just got fucking lucky. But what they really were interested in was the song Art is Dead.
Yeah.
That's such a good song.
Yeah, that's just a good song straight up. And they, by the end of it, Bo was able to like, it was like a 15-minute video. But like by the end of it, Bo was able to like get them on their side. And there was like the host of the show was like really on Bo's because he was the one who wanted Bo to come. And he was like really into it, and he like was excited even though he was like an older school comedian. And Bo performed Art is Dead. And they liked it in their old school comedy way. But back to Grant talking about taking others' works and then like making something of your own. For Christmas last year, my brother got me this book called Steal Like an Artist.
Yeah.
And this has been the basis of like everything I've done creatively since I read that book. It's like a really short book. It's like not even a book. It's like a pamphlet almost. But it's like a square little fun thing with drawings and stuff. But it describes if you want to get good at something, you need to steal other people's work.
Yeah.
And then like keep doing that. And eventually you'll find certain things where it's like, because it's not your work, your brain will just naturally want to be like, I want to change this. I want to cut that out. I want to do something different here. I want to make something of my own now. And just over time, through this process, you'll end up with a combination of somebody else's work and your own and create something better. Of course, you shouldn't just steal it and then like publish.
Amy Schumer.
Right. But it's like during your practicing.
Leave my girl Amy Schumer alone.
During like practicing and like creating like a style and art or something, maybe you want to make something like Starry Night. The only way, you're not going to just be able to do Starry Night. You should do Starry Night. And then through doing that, you'll learn the process of making Starry Night. And then in the future, you can make it different. But like I've done this for my own drawings. I've done this for podcasts. I'm now doing it with comedy. This has like I've done it for programming even. Like if I watch a YouTube video of a tutorial of how to program something, like there's a lot of freedom in programming. But I'll do it exactly as the video says. And then when I implemented it into my own projects, I can change it up and I can make it my own. And this is like how learning is done. It's through imitation.
And it's like, how hard is it to be 100% original?
Very.
And I look at like movies. I love movies.
Right.
And mainly horror movies. All they're doing nowadays is remaking old stuff.
Yeah.
It's like no one can come up with their own ideas anymore. So much has been done. If you're not looking at other people and getting their inspiration, it's so hard to make something original. I can't think of an original idea.
You'd have to make something so
On the
far
spot.
out that no one would like it.
Yeah, it's got to be something crazy, and that's why when you're first starting out, it's like people will judge you, and you'll be like, "What is this?"
Like, we were to make a totally original horror movie, it'd have to be like lamps are haunted and they beat the shit out of
what
people.
would you do? I mean,
We'd make
what hasn't been done yet?
It'd be people that die and their spirits inhabit lamps.
That's
And
genius.
and
That's
those
genius.
fuck
It's like when you look at what movies are popular right now.
no, like real fuck, like this lamp, like real lamps,
I know.
and they fly to the wall
I know.
and they beat you to death.
massive water bottles.
If you look at like what's popular in movies right now, what are the top grossing movies?
Action.
Superhero.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
superhero.
And what are they based off of?
Superhero comic books.
IPs already. They're already just IPs that are made. The stories are already there. It's just a telling in live action. It's not even original.
No.
It's just a movie of something we already have made.
Well, it's kind of like every movie based off a book. Then, it's a lot of
Yeah.
movies.
But
They're remaking it, and it is a movie based off a book.
Yeah.
yeah.
They're
Stephen
they're
King
using
is
this idea
involved.
for a third time.
Stephen King's involved in it, though.
Yeah, he's in-
and I'm excited for that.
No, it looks good.
But it's just the premise of it. All movies, like what's the newest original movie you could think of? Like what
La La
movie?
Land.
Secret Life of Pets.
I mean, anything that goes to an Academy Award is original.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, anyone...
Mad Max.
Mad Max. I mean, Mad Max is based off old
Mad
Mad,
Max is a
Maxes, though.
sequel.
Fucking damn it.
It's a really old sequel.
They have
Mad
like
Max
5
is from
of
the
them.
80s. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the last truly original one that I've really seen is Inside Out. Yeah, I've never
About emotions, though? I mean,
I've
Yeah,
never
that's an
seen
original premise.
anything that's even like closely related to that.
like even Get Out. Did you know that's based on a different movie?
Is it?
Really?
Yeah, look it up. I mean, he had inspiration from this other movie.
No, I didn't know that.
Very similar to it.
Oh.
Well, not to say like doing remakes or taking inspiration is like
No,
a
it's
bad
not-
thing.
it's not- it's
Right.
like-
I love them.
Yeah, these are
They're
like
so
great things.
good.
It's just hard to figure out what's original and how to figure it out.
So
You have
back
be
to
inspired by something.
yeah, you have to be inspired by something. But back to this book. Basically, by the end of it, he says nothing is original, so don't fucking worry about it.
yeah,
Don't worry about being original. Worry about making something great.
it's the way like it sounds like it's like creative Darwinism,
Yeah,
where it's just you take the genetic code of creativity, say it's like and like a joke, you take the structure of a joke and you tweak like a little bit of it, and it like evolves into like something a little bit funnier,
yeah.
and that sustains, and then you just keep doing that with other things until you get something more sustainable than what you had originally
Right.
had.
But I feel like a lot of people view that creative Darwinism, which I really like, and is now the title of this episode. They view it as like the opposite of almost like inbreeding comedy, which is super backwards.
It's weird to think about like that.
Inbreeding comedy? Like comedy about inbreeding?
No,
Or
no.
well,
like,
that's,
Because that
that's,
shit's funny.
that's hilarious.
That's funny. But like taking like these jokes from other people and making them your own is like dumbing down the
Amy
gene pool
Schumer.
of comedy. Amy Schumer. But if you're Amy Schumer, you are making it worse.
Lay off my girl, Amy Schumer.
Why is she your girl?
Yeah. I want you to know the mic went to his face and he said nothing.
No, he did this.
Dogs are inbred.
Yeah, that's why 97% of golden retrievers die of cancer.
Yeah.
And French bulldogs are a fucking monster. Never get or look at a French bulldog.
You can look at them.
They're fucking dying.
You can look at them.
They were born in pain.
You
Yeah.
can still look at them.
They live in pain.
It's
They
like-
die in pain.
They're Mr. Meeseeks. Existence is
Like,
pain for a
existence
French
is
bulldog.
pain. Make that the title of the episode.
What?
Existence is pain for a French bulldog.
That's a good title too. That's a good band name.
No, it's not. Would you listen to their music?
If it's good.
That's a good song title.
No way, it's good.
That's a Fall Out Boy song title.
Yeah.
It is. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, that's what I found out. I was watching the Joe Rogan podcast.
Love it.
Like a clip. You love the Joe
I
Rogan
love
podcast?
the Joe Rogan podcast.
Yeah, I like Joe Rogan too.
You guys listen to Chris D'Elia's podcast? Congratulations.
I got jealous of it because he got more views than us and started later, so I didn't watch it.
Really? That was really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Is it
You,
good?
you didn't think he'd
No.
get more views than us?
I,
It's
like,
not good?
Everyone says that it's good,
Well,
and
he
like Chris
retweets
D'Elia is
it.
he's really into it, and all the people I've seen talk about it say it's good on
Yeah.
Twitter because they tweet at him and he retweets it because
Right.
he's not going to retweet
Because
the
that's
shitty
great.
one. He's not going to retweet the ones that talk shit.
Right.
Like I listened to it and like the first whole episode, the only time I laughed was when he was talking about Spirit Airlines and he said that like it was some joke and the joke ended up with him having to sit with a chicken on his lap.
Yeah.
That's the only time I laughed.
I also tried listening to Chris D'Elia's podcast, but it was like airy and the sound quality wasn't even that good. And I was like, I worked harder on my podcast. You're getting more downloads and people like it. Fuck you.
Well, people just started off liking
He
him.
started hiring.
He has an audience.
Yeah, he immediately was probably getting
Yeah, that
thousands
was-
and thousands of downloads first
Jealousy
day.
isn't logical.
No.
There you go. I guess it's more like envy since it's one-on-one. But, yeah, it's not. It's like Bill Burr's podcast, which I really like. Bill Burr's podcast because that's what his comedy is. He just goes on stage and talks like Dave Chappelle does.
Yeah.
And his podcast is his way of staying sharp, is what he said. So he'll like make 3 podcast episodes a week if he has the time to or wants to. But yeah, maybe give Chris D'Elia some time. I don't know. I haven't listened to it. I did listen to episode 1 though. I didn't care for it too much.
Not really.
I like he's funny.
Chris D'Elia is
His stand-ups are very
hilarious.
funny though.
He's hilarious. He's an hilarious man. I didn't like the TV show he was on.
no
Whatever the hell that was, where he was in a
Yeah.
restaurant with the girl from Good Luck Charlie.
Yeah. I all I know is that show exists.
Yeah, I did not.
I've never seen it.
I watched an episode a while ago when it was just like they had it as a set, but it wasn't live.
Mm-hmm.
And then they did a thing where they turned it into a live show
Mm-hmm.
where they aired it live, and it was a live studio audience and all that.
Mm-hmm.
And it was, I tried to give it another chance, but it
Another chance.
Another
chance.
chance, Charlie.
Another chance, my lord.
But I couldn't get into it. I don't know.
But that's a comedy show, right?
Yeah, and it
'Cause
seems
it has
like
Crystalia.
it seemed like he had a lot of input in the way he was like tweeting about it.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know how much creative input he actually has into it.
So, Amanda and I have been going through The Office because I haven't seen it before.
Oh, I didn't like it that much.
I love it
Eh.
because I tried it by myself and I couldn't
Eh.
get into it.
Yeah,
But I'm also a lot more
open with another person.
open with another person.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, if Bo Burnham's Make Happy special, he says in his outro song, like, I hope I made you exhale loudly through your nose at least once during the show.
Yeah, that's what you do when you're alone.
Right. And when you're with someone else, you laugh because there's, like, that societal pressure or whatever. But I'm really enjoying it with Amanda.
That's why you should go see a stand-up at like in the theater because you fucking crack up at everything he says.
Right. Even if it's, like, not funny if you watch, like, a special or something.
Yeah. Then when I went to go see Hannibal Buress, I was laughing for 2 hours straight. I
Right.
could not stop.
And what I realized is why The Office is such a special, why it was so ahead of its time in the writing, because its comedy is so much like us.
It's just
what I realized.
existing.
Yeah, it's just so, like, natural.
Yeah.
And it's almost like actually watching, like, they did very well, and it's ahead of its time. Not anymore, but it was. And what I realized is that they gave so much creative freedom to the people playing these characters that look absolutely natural in their roles.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas, so I said to Amanda, oh, why I like The Office and I don't like that 70s show is because that 70s show uses the actors as a tool for the script. Just to say it.
Well, yeah, it's just a means to get the script off the
And
paper
then
into the,
what The Office does is that the script is a tool for the actors to do their performance. Which is it's a dichotomy switch, Justin. Dichotomy.
Oh, that's a good word.
Dichotomy switch. Where suddenly there's a lot more creative power in how you can express yourself while acting.
Yeah.
To do, like, those really natural, embarrassing moments that The Office is known for.
I don't know, when I watched it, I think I was younger at the time.
Yeah.
I just didn't get into it. I don't know. I didn't find it all that funny. I don't know.
It's a lot more, like, you might like it now.
Yeah.
But even if I was by myself, I couldn't watch it. Just due to the sheer cringy moments that happen.
Yeah.
I would turn it off at those moments. But because Amanda's there, I feel that pressure not to.
I just didn't. I don't know what it was about it. I like Parks and Rec more.
Parks and Rec is just a funny show.
Yeah.
They just have.
It's
I
like
laugh
New
out
Era.
loud by myself watching Parks and Rec.
Yeah.
Right. It's like New Era Office.
I
It's the same
I
people.
love Chris Pratt. I think
Oh,
he's hilarious.
Yeah.
Did Guardians of the Galaxy 2 come out?
I'm going to see it this weekend. This weekend, I'm going to see it.
Oh my
Nice.
God, we should go see it.
Let's see Thursday.
Thursday night?
Yeah.
Right after we close? We got to work out. No, actually, wait, what are we... I'm not going to midnight release. I'm going to fall asleep.
Yeah, you will.
I'm not going to that.
Like American Sniper. Remember we all went and saw that and I fell asleep?
I didn't go see it.
Wait, what movie did we see? Nightcrawler.
Oh, yeah.
I
You
fell
did fall
asleep during that. I
It
felt
wasn't
so
midnight
bad.
release, was it?
No, it wasn't.
Because I didn't fall asleep. So
The
I
movie
couldn't
theater-
It was a
Empty.
midday release.
Oh.
It was a long movie.
It was, but I since watched it again. I
Yeah,
love
it's
it.
on Netflix.
I love it.
Yeah, it's a good movie.
It's a great movie.
Oh, yeah. He was going to say good. He switched it to great.
I did, yeah. Yeah, let's talk about Star Wars.
All right, sick.
What do you want to say, Seth?
What do I want to say? I cannot wait for the new movie. And I am also very excited for the new Han Solo movie coming the year after this one comes out.
Is that the one with Childish Gambino in it?
That is the one with Childish Gambino in it.
My man Dong Glover.
But I kind of look up. I'm kind of a nerd when it comes to this stuff because I have nothing else to do. I just lift and watch movie reviews and stuff. And it's like, you know how it's red? The Star Wars is red?
Yeah.
Someone's going to die.
Yeah.
It happened in the old ones.
When they turned
Someone's going to die.
When they turned Empire red.
Yeah.
Yep, and then the third and the sixth both had the red lettering.
I was watching... I also watch movie reviews, but I also watch people from the industry have a lot of YouTube channels. So I subscribe to a couple channels talk about editing of movies or screenplays of movies. And recently I saw one that compares the screenplay between What's 7?
Force Awakens,
Force Awakens and
Rogue One.
That
That 16-minute video.
yeah.
Yeah,
That's a
lettering-
great
the
video
lettering's, like,
comparing
white.
the two.
for Empire.
Yeah. It's like white lettering. Also, it got a 94% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Empire's the best one. Oh yeah, it is white.
8.8 IMDb.
Oh.
81% Metacritic.
I also just saw a video talking about the sound of Star Wars, about how that was so revolutionary in the first few movies, the sound design.
Yeah, because it's isn't that John Williams?
Yeah.
Yeah,
The Captain Christian video?
yeah.
Yeah. And how that really sells the movie is the sound in it, and how the role of sound design came out of Star Wars, is that dedicated role.
I have since I've started getting really into movies, if you truly listen, like the score and the music and what's in the background, that's what makes a movie. Yeah. If you ever watch a movie and you're like, this is a decent movie, but you're not that into it, it's because the sound isn't that good.
Do you
You know
the channel Every Frame a Painting?
No, haven't
Because
heard
they
of
have a dedicated video to sound design, or not sound design, scores in movies.
Yeah.
And how another thing is, if you don't necessarily like a movie, it might be the score, but it might be because you've already heard the score in another movie. Because what they do is they'll put old scores from different movies in place in like the first edit of a movie. But what happens is that the edit then revolves around that score. So what the orchestra has to do is create basically something super similar to that, but it's not original anymore.
Yeah.
That's why like Interstellar, it's like the premise of the movie isn't that good, but the score really gets you into the movie and you're invested with the movie because of like the sound design throughout the whole thing.
Right.
I remember watching it. I didn't really know what was going on. I didn't understand it, and then like the whole time it was happening, it was just it was just weird. I didn't like it too much, but the whole sound really kept me involved with it.
Right.
The big one I think of is, have you seen the classic Predator?
Yeah.
And it's Arnold, get to the chopper.
Yeah.
And when he's crawling, like I think his whole crew's dead by this point.
He's by himself.
And then the music comes on, it gets me so amped.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, it's Arnold versus this Predator. And that's it. Watch the end of it again. You hear this track, and then there's like no dialogue the rest of the movie. It's just him versus freaking Predator. And I love it. And it's something I didn't notice.
Right.
Originally,
don't.
before I get into it.
I mean, the whole thing about like editing and sound design is that, it should be almost invisible. Yeah. Which is something I feel the people shouldn't acknowledge it, and while they're watching the movie, they should just experience it. Their brain will take care of the rest. They don't need to acknowledge anything. So during that fight with Predator and Arnold's fighting, there's so many different layers that sell this illusion of what's happening on the screen. So like, old school action movies have a lot. They don't like cut as much. So like in the Predator fight, there's a lot of like, pow, 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 but
Yeah.
they don't cut on every single little bit like they do in like an Avengers movie now.
The Civil War. That's
Right.
what I first thought of. It's
There's so many cuts. Like all the cuts really take you out of the fight.
Right.
Like in that was that Every Frame a Picture with
Yeah,
Jackie
every frame
Chan.
painting, yeah.
Yeah.
That is a great.
That one really illustrated to me. Like I noticed the cuts in fight scenes before because CinemaSins did it. They talk about like when Black Widow fights, how they cut away because Scarlett Johansson isn't actually
It's not
fighting.
her,
yeah, so they have to cut constantly when she's fighting, and that's what drew me into like the attention of cutting in fight scenes. But when the Every Frame a Picture one did it, it really like showcased to me how well it works when it isn't always like that.
Oh my god, yeah. Those examples of the Jackie Chan movies that I had never seen before were like so fucking entertaining to watch. Because I mean, Jackie would do like, what was it, like 400 takes just to like kick a fan up and catch it?
He had to get everything perfect.
Yeah.
Everything had to be perfect in the fight scene or else he would cut it and say redo.
Right.
And that's what was too demanding for like the crew and everything.
It was too demanding for, I think he said, the American industry.
Yeah.
He was working with Chinese filmmakers, and like that work ethic was ingrained into them. And then when he tried to do it for American movies, they were so tired of it.
well, what you said is, I didn't start to notice, and it goes back to sound too.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't start to notice the sound until probably The Force Awakens, because you you haven't seen Star Wars in so long, and then the do,
Right.
and you just know what you're going to get into. And it
Yeah.
was awesome. And then you're just listening to the whole movie. It just sounds great.
People always
Justin's great, too.
what
Thank
that
you, Seth.
what that Captain Christian video really showed me was the best moment of the prequels was when they're in the meteor field and there was a boom, and that sound is the best thing to come out of those movies. And that's where Christian argues that sound design necessarily shouldn't be invisible. It should like still be like, wow, that was awesome.
It should be like used to emphasize points in the movie instead of like trying to like underlay it.
Yeah. But there's so much in movies. That's why I'm so interested in them. Is that all we want to talk about Star Wars?
Do you want to bring more into it?
We didn't really talk about Star Wars, but we can. What do you guys have to say?
I've only ever seen 2 of them.
Justin doesn't, yeah.
Which ones you saw? You didn't see 2 of them.
You've only seen 2 of them?
I saw 3 in theaters, and then I saw 4, and I saw like a bit of 5.
You saw a bit of Force Awakens and
I
a
saw
bit of Rogue One.
A bit of
too.
7 and a bit of 8.
No, that's not 8. That's Rogue One.
That's Rogue
A
One.
bit of Rogue One.
My goal is to get them all on Blu-ray. It's just the classic ones. It's like $90 for all 6. So I don't have those, but I got the Force Awakens. I'm getting Rogue One. I like to own them, and then I can watch them. I like watching the behind-the-scenes stuff.
Mm-hmm.
See how the stuff works, dude. I love Chewie. Chewie's my dude. But yeah, there isn't really much to talk about Star Wars, I guess. That people haven't
there
already
is,
heard.
but, I mean, we would have to dedicate an entire episode.
Yeah,
It'd be like too much to handle at this time.
Yeah.
It'd be another whole hour and a half
Right.
of just Star Wars talk.
I'm more of a Harry Potter kind of guy.
love Harry Potter.
It's great.
Harry Potter's dope shit too.
I couldn't get into it.
Oh, I got really into it. Seth got really into it.
I didn't have the attention span when I was younger.
I loved it.
I've read each book 3 or 4 times.
I've read The Goblet of Fire probably 20 times.
My girlfriend's scared of Voldemort,
What?
so she hates Harry Potter.
Oh my god.
I know.
Isn't that what they want you to be
That's what
scared
they
of him? Wouldn't you like it? Because
We're too well.
He's scary in the 4th one.
We're too well.
When they like rebirth
When they
him.
when they
It's
revive
like
him.
shit. Like I'm a little scared in my seat right now.
In my seat. My popcorns.
Like my hands, my popcorn, because I'm scared.
Damn.
Popcorn's safe.
I'm in a movie theater. Just popcorn.
Yeah, Cedric Diggory died, and I was like, "Fuck, man, I'm crying right now."
Spoilers. Put this before Justin said that. Spoilers.
Spoilers for Harry Potter Goblet of Fire.
The 4th Harry Potter.
That came out whenever. Who knows? The movie came out.
Still put spoiler in front of it.
I think the movie came out 10 years ago. The book came out, I think, like 6 years before that.
Listener picks our podcast out of hundreds. Listens to most recent episode. Wow, I really like this. Hasn't seen Goblet of Fire. Waits till the end. Gets spoiled.
Oh, damn it. Now I can't watch Harry Potter.
Yeah, it's sad. But it's also sad that this is the end of Your Friend's Podcast, and I'm Alex Comp. If you like this episode, you should discuss it on Reddit. We post links to our YouTube videos there. You can also subscribe to us on YouTube if you prefer to watch us there, even though you're listening right now. But you might also already be watching on YouTube. So never mind. You can follow all of us on Twitter. You can follow me at Alex Comp. That's KAUMP, and that's Grant Davis.
You can find me at Twitter at Grant_Davis33.
And that's Justin.
You can find me on Twitter at Justin Brodzik14.
And I want to thank Seth for coming out and doing an episode with us. This was really
Thank
great
you for
recording.
having me.
It was so much fun. And you have supported us through all of this.
I love it.
What's your Twitter? Plug it.
Yeah.
I actually do not have any. I'm the
I totally
abomination
forgot.
of this world.
You don't have anything to plug?
You can go on and find me, but I have not been on social media in months.
You want to plug your workout routine?
You want to plug anything?
Plug my workout
You
routine.
want to plug your family?
Plug your diet
Follow
plan?
me on LinkedIn.
Give
We
me a
can
job.
connect. Let's connect. I'm the guy that's the sales floor associate at this unknown company.
Nice.
I love Target.
It's fine if you say nice stuff.
Oh, yeah, you haven't been on.
But yeah, thanks for listening. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.